Every day we draw closer to the unveiling of the Nintendo Switch successor, the Nintendo Switch 2, if you will. So I decided today I want to give you guys 5 things that I want out of the upcoming Nintendo hardware. Now, this isn't based on any sort of insider information or anything like that. This is just strictly my opinion. 5 areas I want Nintendo to focus on with this upcoming console. Feel free to put your thoughts in the comments section down below and your 5 things that you want Nintendo to focus on, because conversation's always good. But without any further ado, let's get into my 5 things. Now, I will say that this isn't in a sequential list or anything like that. It's not ranked from best to least or whatever. It's just 5 things that I want, and these were the things that I came up with when I was thinking of this video. Number 1, a better damn eShop. Like, if you justify this eShop, we're going to have a problem. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting here, because this thing, it's not bad. It's atrocious. It's slow. It takes forever to navigate things. Discoverability is at an all-time low. You have all of these companies doing asset flip games and putting them on there. There's like 5 hentai games that release a week. And the thing of it is like, if you're making all of these hentai games, somebody must be buying them. Like, there must be a market for this. And I want to give you guys a little bit of knowledge here. With all those hentai games that you are potentially buying, you could take that same money and then go to something called a strip club, and you could see real boobs. And, you know, if you're a cute looking guy, you might could even, we're not going to talk about that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, and I'm not here to judge you. Maybe a little, but I'm not here to judge you if that's your cup of tea. But there's way too many hentai games on the eShop. There's way too many, you know, just problems with this as far as navigation is concerned, as far as discovering games is concerned. There's way too much. The floodgates are just open for this. And I would like to see it become a little bit more curated. I would like to see more tabs, more search features, more just a better experience for people. Because even, you know, jokes aside with the hentai stuff, I don't really care if you buy that stuff. You know, it's still a slow and plodding experience. It's not intuitive. It's not free-flowing. It doesn't feel good to navigate this eShop, and I think that that's an area that Nintendo really needs to focus on. We are coming into a digital age with a lot of these systems. People are buying digital more and more. Companies are releasing digital-only games more and more, and if the discoverability is very low for their games, like, what's the point of putting it on there? Just a hope and a dream and a fart in the wind? Like, we definitely need to focus on this and making it a better user experience, because at the end of the day, that's who is using it, the user themselves. And to constantly have all these issues and problems and just slow navigation and, you know, not being able to find games that are tailor suited to you. You can't even get like recommendations based on previous games that you've played and purchased. Like, it's crazy. Make it tailor suited to the consumer. And I guess if you're one of those hentai boys, it'll just be tailor suited to you. The next thing is a combination of several different things that I'm just going to lump into one category because I didn't want to take up a bunch of spaces. Native voice chat, basic online features, no friend codes. Basically, make a competent online multiplayer system. I get it. You're worried about children, allegedly. The Wii had better stuff when it came to online gaming. The Wii, a system that was for old people and children and everyone in between. Like, parents need to take some sort of responsibility with this. You shouldn't be penalizing adults for shoddy parenting. If a parent doesn't want a kid to have, you know, talk online or something, make that a system feature. Make that something that under the parental controls, they can control that and turn off things like voice chat and stuff like that. But just the way that everything is set up now, having to use a cell phone application in order to use voice chat is ridiculous. And people will say, oh, well, you can just use Discord. I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't be telling people to use Discord when it should just be built in to the system itself. There's no reason for friend codes. There's no reason for the subpar voice chat, the ability to not send messages to people and stuff like that. Like, it's just archaic at this point in time. I get it. You're not super focused on online, but when you're making games that have an online component to them, and sometimes like the Splatoon series have a very strong online component into them, you need to beef this up. You know, it's something that you kept changing things from the Wii to the Wii U to the Switch. Okay, I get it. But now if you are putting these Nintendo accounts and moving them forward, like in that little graph that everyone's been showing since, God, 2019, then you need to start taking the online a bit more serious. You need to start having basic features that were available on the original Xbox in the early 2000s. Everyone has online multiplayer. Every game has online multiplayer as far as, games that have a competitive aspect to them or a community aspect to them. And it's time to embrace that in a way that is good for the player experience, that is good for the user that is using them. The third thing I would like to bring up that I feel that the Nintendo Switch successor needs to have is more value for Nintendo Switch Online. Now, I don't hate Nintendo Switch Online, of course, talking about the added bonuses that you get, like the DLC for games is kind of cool, honestly. There's a good variety of systems, although, sometimes the online can struggle in some of those games. But what's happening is, what other systems are going to be added? Are other systems going to be added? Because as it stands now, we get up to the Nintendo 64, we have the Super Nintendo, the NES, the Sega Genesis. Do you remember that you have the Sega Genesis? Because you haven't put up any Sega Genesis games in a very long time. You also have Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, but a lot of those systems, it seems like the games that are going to come out for them have come out for them. Like, obviously, you're holding back stuff for the N64, like Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, but it seems like for the other systems, those games that people potentially want, the classic Final Fantasy games, Castlevania on the Super Nintendo, classic Castlevania games on the NES, it doesn't seem like those are ever coming, because you have things like the Pixel remasters that Square Enix is selling, and of course you have the Cowabunga collection for Ninja Turtles. So how are we going to expand the value of this? Because I think that that's kind of what you're needing to do here. I feel like the people that have signed up for Nintendo Switch Online, like, they're signed up, but what's the incentive for them to continue besides just, being able to play multiplayer online? Is there going to be enough value for people to want to continue the service? And how are you going to offer that value? Are you going to add in things like Nintendo DS, potentially GameCube? I feel like there's a lot of questions surrounding that, and I think that's something that I would like to see personally addressed with this system. The next thing we're going to talk about, number 4, is of course about hardware itself. I want expanded graphical capabilities. Like, I understand that it's going to happen, but I want it to be somewhat of a focus. I don't need PS5 Pro ray tracing reflections and crap like that. But when I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I cannot get a stable frame rate out of this game, a top-down 3D-ish, 2D-ish game, when I have Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity with struggling to hit 30 frames per second in times like that, like, I want to see a focus on, just better graphical capabilities from a standpoint of you don't need to have 4K 120 frames per second. This other systems that are out on the market, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, they're not hitting that for most games. I just want stability. And I don't know why the gaming industry has moved away from stability in terms of resolution, because stability within a frame rate is, in my opinion, far more important than any sort of resolution upgrades. Like 1080p, 4K, like I don't need no 8K. You give me 1080p and, maybe 2K frame. Like, the thing is, most of these people that are playing these games don't have televisions that really even take advantage of it. I just want better performance out of my games, and I think that that is going to happen. Of course, we have the DLSS aspect of it, but I want that to be like a primary focus. Because you don't have a problem making games. You have a problem making games that run smoothly on hardware when it's anything kind of out of the norm, when it's anything, you know, above like a party game or something like that. And obviously, you know, you've had Super Mario Odyssey. That was a great running experience, very well optimized. I want to see more optimization out of these games in the future, and I want that to be hardware regulated. I want that to be, you know, a result. I get better performance out of these games. I get baseline 1080p 60 frames in docked mode on these games because you're making the games with the hardware in mind instead of the opposite way. And the final thing, no gimmicks. No gimmicks. I don't need a freaking VR headset, AR capabilities, this, that, or the other. I don't need any of that crap. Nobody wants that. I don't know. Maybe there are people that want that, but this is my video. You can go make a video yourself, pal. But nobody wants you to do anything too crazy. And it's Nintendo, so you're always worried about that crazy aspect. You're always worried they're going to find some new technology, like put a built-in vitality sensor, have it so you can connect two switches, two Switch 2s to have like a dual screen. You could like daisy chain them and have like 8 screens, and like one could be a map and one could be like your inventory system. Nobody wants that. Just make a system like you have, but better. No gimmicks. I don't need any crazy gimmicks. The gimmicks that you have now are of varying quality. How often did, you know, the haptic Joy-Con feedback really get used outside of a few games here and there? Just keep it simple. Make the system that you have now with the Switch, but make it better. Just take that as a baseline. You know, you could change the colors, you could change a little bit of how it looks for marketing purposes, but just keep it simple. Keep it simple and position it as an upgrade to the system you have now. Better performance, better online, better features, better Nintendo Switch Online stuff. You know, just come out guns blazing with that. And that's all anyone wants. The video game industry is in the shitter right now, okay? I don't know if you've noticed that quite yet, Nintendo, but these other companies, as far as hardware are concerned, there's a lot of questions surrounding it. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, there are questions around those systems. And you have a direct path here, directly to you, no pun intended, to really capitalize on something like that, to actually appease and answer the problems and the questions that fans have with the current hardware by making just a better, more powerful, more online feature-based system. We don't need any craziness. We get it. You used to like to do that sort of stuff. It's a new era. The video game industry is constantly changing. And when you find something that resonates with the video game marketplace, like the Nintendo Switch did, you have to, you know, in my opinion, you have to keep up with that. You have to continue that vision. You have to continue, because that's what makes you unique in this whole situation. That's what makes you an interesting alternative to something like the PS5, an interesting alternative to something like the Xbox Series, because those systems are going to continue to go on a trajectory that they are already on. You should continue on your trajectory, which goes in a bit of an askewed direction, but eventually you get to the law of diminishing returns, or those systems aren't doing anything too crazy that can't be handled on your own hardware, yet you still get that Nintendo experience. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I want to see out of it. You know, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, you could be a huge hentai fan, and that's cool with me, man. I'm not, you know, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to help you out, trying to guide you a little bit. Man, you know, maybe you can chill out on that a little bit, but hey, you know, if that's your cup of tea, man, who am I to judge you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, though. I'm genuinely interested to see, like, what do you want Nintendo to focus on? What do you think that they should focus on with this new hardware? Because it's coming sooner rather than later. And, you know, do you think that there is going to be some sort of crazy gimmick? Do you think they're going to go in a completely, you know, unique direction with this system, or is it just going to be a status quo thing? You got to remember, President Furukawa, he's a businessman. He's not, you know, more of a free spirit like Iwata was. And is that going to translate into what we see with the actual hardware? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to check out the Art of N64 Wrestling Games book in the pinned comment in the comment section down below, also in the description box. We've been #1 on Amazon for 2 weeks. That's freaking crazy. So, yeah, appreciate the support. Y'all are awesome. And, yeah, give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. And, as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.